We've got an incredible source material for you today, a very old folktale that feels, it feels instantly relevant even centuries later.
Oh, absolutely. It's a German story, The Turnip and the Sack of Wisdom.
Right.
And if you're looking for a deep dive that gives you the whole spectrum of human experience, from, pure ridiculous luck to cold-blooded envy, and then finally, this incredible quick-witted survival, this is it.
That's our mission today, really. We're going to unpack the mechanics of fortune in this specific tale.
It's all centered around two brothers, one rich, one poor.
Yeah, and we're looking at how a single, just bizarre object creates immense wealth, and then how sheer cunning is the only thing that can save that wealth, and the man who owns it from just lethal jealousy.
So to set the scene, these brothers were both soldiers. But the poor brother, he eventually realized the military life, it just wasn't for him. He drew off the soldier's coat, as the source says.
He just leaves that life behind to become a humble farmer.
Trying to escape his poverty, but he really was just, scraping by.
He's planting basic seeds, just hoping for the best. And then nature, it sort of steps in with an intervention. He plants turnip seeds or rubes them in.
And one of them, just one, decides to go absolutely berserk.
This isn't just a garden variety large vegetable. This thing is a complete anomaly.
It's the kind of thing that makes headlines, The source describes it as growing continuously, getting noticeably thicker, until it reached this truly monumental size. They actually call it a princess of all turnips.
The princess of all turnips. That is the title you earn.
You definitely earn it.
We're talking about a turnip so enormous it took a full wagon and 2 oxen just to haul it away.
Try to visualize that scale.
It's not a vegetable. It's a float in a parade.
Exactly. Which brings us to a crucial point about the value, because that turnip is what initiates our first major theme. Fortune gained.
The farmer, despite being poor, is smart. He looks at this massive thing and he quickly realizes, I can't eat this, and if I try to sell it by weight, I'm still poor.
He's not wrong.
He correctly identifies that its true worth is in its spectacular rarity.
Exactly. Its value is not monetary, it's narrative. His best move, which is, genius in its simplicity, is to present it to the king as a tribute.
So he hauls this 2-ox vegetable spectacle to the royal court.
And the king, predictably, is stunned. He calls it a strange thing, a prodigy, even a monster.
Right. But what's fascinating is that the king's reaction isn't just focused on the vegetable, it's focused on the farmer's situation.
That's the key lever. The king realizes this man is, he's forgotten by the world because he's poor, while his rich brother is well known at court. And the king expresses genuine pity, but it's a calculated pity. He understands the immense humility required to offer such a bizarre yet unique gift.
He sees the story, not the price tag. And the result is a staggering over-delivery on the king's part. He decides to elevate the poor farmer entirely. He says he shall be gifted so much that he will equal and then eclipse his wealthy brother.
And this wasn't just pocket change. The farmer received vast amounts of gold, fields, meadows, and herds.
He becomes stone rich.
So wealthy that his rich brother's fortune just couldn't compete anymore.
So if you're taking notes on what generates fortune, the takeaway here is clear. Sometimes the value isn't in what something costs.
No, it's in the surprise, the rarity, and the story it allows a powerful patron to tell about their own generosity.
It's a classic move. A unique gesture beats a conventional expensive gift. Every single time.
Because the king can't show off gold. Everyone has gold. But he can show off the story of the poor farmer and the 2-ox turnip he rewarded so magnificently.
But fortune, as we know, attracts tremendous friction. And that leads us right to our next phase. The downfall of calculated greed.
Right. The rich brother hears what a single dirty turnip accomplished, and he is just instantly consumed by it.
His envy is a direct response to the lack of logic, really. The rich brother thinks, I am rich. If a worthless turnip made my brother rich, surely if I bring the most valuable things possible,
I will become astronomically richer. Yeah. He sees the king's generosity not as a response to uniqueness, but as a simple, repeatable transaction.
This is the fatal miscalculation of the greedy. They assume the reward scale is purely linear.
And so he goes to the king, trying to be much smarter, and brings truly expensive gifts. Gold, fine horses, the kind of things a king would actually need.
He's expecting a vault full of counter gifts.
And this is where the king reveals his true brilliance and, frankly, a subtle layer of political cruelty. He accepts the gifts. Of course he does.
Of course.
But then he delivers a rejection that is just absolute humiliation.
He tells the rich brother that he knows of nothing rarer or better to return than
the giant turnip itself.
Oh, that is brutal.
Imagine the scene. The rich brother who brought the most coveted status symbols is forced to load this absurd, overgrown vegetable, the very symbol of his brother's new fortune, onto his wagon and haul it home.
As his pathetic reward.
He didn't just get nothing, he got the physical embodiment of his resentment.
It's the ultimate go back to where you came from gift. He tried to buy the king's favor, and the king sent him away with a vegetable and a lesson.
The humiliation was total. The source makes it really clear. The rich brother was consumed by rage and anger.
And this deep-seated envy turns into something much darker, more decisive.
He decides he must kill his own brother. The goal shifts from gaining more wealth to just eliminating the source of his humiliation.
The story escalates so quickly from there. He hires murderers and lures his newly wealthy brother out into the woods under this false pretense of showing him a secret treasure.
And the poor farmer, now wealthy, is still trusting, and he falls for the trap.
Yeah, and that's the inflection point of the whole story.
Yeah.
All the gold the king gave him, all the fields, all the herds.
Instantly useless.
Completely useless. Wealth cannot save him from violence and betrayal. Now, survival depends purely on immediate ingenuity.
Which brings us to the deep dive into deception. The ambush is successful, the murderers jump out, they bind the farmer, and are just about to hang him from a tree.
But luck, however improbable, it returns one last time, at least as an opportunity.
They hear loud singing and the sound of hoofbeats approaching rapidly in the distance.
The murderers panic instantly. They're terrified of being caught with a body.
So in a flurry of haste, they stuff the bound, helpless man into a sack, hoist it high up onto a branch, and they flee, running over neck and head, as the text says.
The farmer is trapped, suspended in a bag, just waiting for the murderers to return.
But he doesn't wait. He works the sack until he manages to tear a hole large enough to stick his head out.
And the traveler approaching through the forest is a merry, singing, traveling scholar. A Ferender Schuler riding along, probably totally focused on his studies.
And the farmer sees not a savior, but a mark.
He launches one of the most brilliant cons in folk history. He calls down a friendly greeting, and when the scholar asks who is speaking from a sack dangling high in a tree,
he replies that he is sitting in the Sack der Weisheit, the sack of wisdom.
This is truly phenomenal improvisation. He doesn't ask the scholar for help.
No, which would immediately raise suspicion. He leverages the scholar's defining weakness, his intellectual ambition, his thirst for knowledge.
He immediately starts listing the wisdom he has instantly acquired in the sack, and the details are so precise, so targeted.
Right. He claims to understand the stars and celestial signs, the blowing of all winds, the sand and the sea, the healing of illnesses, and the powers of herbs, birds, and stones.
That catalog of knowledge is deliberate. He's claiming instantaneous access to things that would take a dedicated scholar decades, if not a lifetime, of hard study to even approach.
It's comprehensive, it's secret, it's magical, the perfect knowledge lore.
And he finishes the pitch by dismissing all conventional learning, stating that compared to this magical sack, all schools are just wind. He weaponized skepticism against the very institutions that the scholar relies on.
And the scholar is now hooked. This is a chance to shortcut his life's work. His Durst nach Weisheit, his thirst for wisdom, is just overpowering all common sense.
The farmer knows he can't look too eager, so he launches into the swap, wit applied. The scholar begs to be allowed into the sack immediately, but the farmer, he pretends to be reluctant.
He says, I only need 1 more hour to finish learning this last piece of knowledge, but perhaps I can be persuaded for a price.
He makes the wisdom sound valuable and exclusive, which just increases the scholar's desperation.
And the scholar is so impatient that he begs to be let in sooner, offering to pay any price. He doesn't want to wait an hour when infinite knowledge is dangling just above his head.
So the farmer agrees, but he sets a condition. To come out of the house of wisdom, you must first lower the sack by the rope.
The scholar, completely blinded by ambition, complies immediately. He lowers the bag, and he unties it, freeing the prisoner.
And this is the critical juncture. The farmer is free, but the scholar is still eager. The scholar cries out, now pull me up quickly, and tries to step into the sack.
But the farmer stops him. He executes this final, incredibly satisfying act of cunning. He grabs the scholar, stuffs him upside down into the sack, ties it tightly, and hoists the new disciple of wisdom up the tree.
He doesn't just leave either. He gives it a little swing.
Oh yeah, he swings the sack in the air and mocks the scholar, saying something like, "See, my dear fellow, you already feel wisdom coming and are making good experience. Sit quietly until you become wiser."
That is narrative control taken to its absolute highest form. The farmer didn't just save his life, he acquired the scholar's horse, his new means of transport, and rode away, promising to send someone back in an hour to let the scholar down.
And the story just ends with the scholar suspended, quite literally hanging on to a delusion.
So if we synthesize this whole arc for you, the listener, we see two massive lessons in fortune. The first, pure improbable luck. The turnip can grant you material wealth.
Right, but that wealth is fragile and it attracts fatal jealousy.
And the second lesson, which is far more profound, is that ultimate survival requires the total necessity of wit. When the gold was useless, the farmer used ingenuity and theater to not just escape, but to completely reverse his situation.
He acquired mobility and he left his executioner in his place.
The king's gold was a great initial advantage, but the farmer's real fortune was the ability to improvise a legend under duress.
He transformed a tool of his own impending death, a simple sack, into the most desirable intellectual commodity in the world.
And what stands out, ultimately, is the farmer's profound understanding of human nature. He didn't appeal to the scholar's pity or his morality.
No, he appealed directly to his greatest ambition. He gave him the exact narrative he desperately wanted to believe.
So here is our final thought for you to carry with you. The tale implies that necessity is the mother of invention, but invention is only successful if it appeals to someone else's desire.
The farmer turned a common sack and a dangerous predicament into the house of wisdom.
Think about that. What common, everyday object in your life could be rebranded and repurposed into a powerful, desirable legend when necessity truly demands it? What simple thing could become your own sack of wisdom?
Something for you to mull over the next time you feel stuck. Until the next deep dive.